Major sponsor, Rapid Start AI. Entertainment projects, Bessa Group, Anton Jewelry, Harley Flowers, Nasser & Sons, Sullivan Group, East Bushy Property Developers, Valencia, Royal Stacks, Malika Group, Elysium Real Estate, Barbecue Cave, Cameron Commercial Real Estate, The Manor on High, CNC Pro, Spectrum Real Estate, and Medeni Group. Hope you enjoy the game.
Can the following three cars please move your cars because they're in the way? We've got a blue V40, number plates 1WY6PX. Blue V40, please move your car, you're in the way. Also got MG1TD6NU. MG number plates 1TD6NU, you're in the way. And also a Toyota, light blue Toyota OQI 099. Welcome to George Andrews Reserve on this hot night down at George Andrews Reserve. Round 6 NPL action between Dandenong Thunder and South Melbourne. 2-2 team lineups. South Melbourne, the opposition. Number 21, Ross Archibald. Number 7, Andy Brennan.
1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Quickly. I'll quickly get him while he's not.
Number 23, Morgan Evans. Number 11, Robert Harding. Number 4, Marko Jankovic. Number 3, Jordan Lampard. Number 88, Charlie Leach. Number 1, Javier Lopez. Number 5, Jake Marshall. Number 10, George Mells. Number 22, Max Mikola. Substitutes for South Melbourne. Number 13, Luca Durso. Jake Charleston. Andrew Mazzarini. Gustav Muller and Jack Pope. To the home team, in goals, number 1, Jamie Young. Number 3, Daniel Alessi. Number 10, Daniel Clark. Number 9, Wade Decker. Number 24, Ben Jiba. Number 14, Hassan Jolla. Number 5, Messi Mehmeti. Number 11, Captain Ali Suleimani. Number 8, Kyle Taylor. Number 7, Yuki Uchida. Number 15, Tess Van Amogen. Substitutes for Dandenong Thunder. Aidan Edwards, Sevdim Ismaili, Ivan Casso, Ben McCauley, Jay Romanovsky, and Rahul Suresh and Ivan Casso. Hope you enjoy the game. Dandenong Thunder would also like to give a warm welcome to Hawthorn superstar number 31, Connor McDonald, who's here tonight. So everyone, round of applause for Connor, make him feel welcome. Go the Pies.
The curtain call for match day 6 of the 2025 NPL Victoria season. George Andrews Reserve is the scene for a clash between two sides for whom the arrow of momentum is of stark contrast. South Melbourne, a fallen superpower of sorts after that debacle against Dynamo, and then the costly loss last week against Preston that could not have gone much worse for Esteban Quintas' side. The wheels are beginning to wobble as South make their way out to the Rangers this evening, where an emergent dark horse finals challenger lurks ominously. Adam Pittock's Dandenong Thunder on a 2-game winning streak and fresh off an impressive come-from-behind win over Heidelberg United at home last week. The Thunder in 5th position on the table coming into match day 6, and there is a spot up for grabs in 2nd position if they are good enough tonight. They make one change from the side that gunned down Heidelberg United last week. Aidan Edwards goes back to the bench and is replaced by Wade Decker. So Jamie Young in goal with the back three of Daniel Alessi, Keith Van Amerongam and Merson Mehmedi. Kyle Taylor will play in the middle of midfield. Daniel Clark slots in alongside him with Ben Jibber and Captain Ali Suleimani, the wing backs. Hassan Jallo, who has scored in 4 of 5 games for the Thunder, leads the line, flanked by the returning Wade Decker and Yuki Ushida. 4 changes for South Melbourne from the debacle against Preston last week, 3 of them forced. Jonathan Petoulas, the goalkeeper, is suspended. Jack Pater Andrews and Noel Bernardo have succumbed to injury. Lucas Inglese goes back to the bench. A welcome return in goal for Javi Lopez, who returns after missing just 1 game due to injury. Morgan Evans, Charlie Leach and Robert Harding all return. So Javi Lopez in goal. Marko Jankovic and Jake Marshall starts in the middle of defence for the 6th consecutive match. Jordan Lampard at left back, Morgan Evans at right back. The holding midfielders will be Ross Archibald and George Mells. Charlie Leach will play ahead of those two, flanked by Max Mikula and Andy Brennan. Robert Harding leads the line for South Melbourne this evening, who are also without their manager Esteban Quintas, suspended, picking up too many yellow cards. Lee Menopoulos will take charge for South this evening. Ross Clark is your referee in the middle tonight. On the sidelines will be Mark Tito and John White, and our 4th official down below us is Poya Gardiri. And Brent Sternberg here alongside Adam Sarakoglu, ready to go for the final match of match day 6. Dandenong Thunder will kick us off from left to right in the red and black. And South Melbourne, Adam, in the white kits this evening, 2 consecutive losses. This is a side that hasn't done a lot of losing in recent times, and this is not the kind of ground you want to come to try and recapture your form.
Absolutely not. They're in the white kits and they're in the hot seat tonight, South Melbourne. Good to be with you, Brent Sternberg. The final game of round 6 underway at George Andrews Reserve. And it is a big night ahead for both of these sides. It's been such a great start for Dandenong Thunder. Started 5th on the table coming into match day 6 here. Coming off a couple of consecutive wins. Took care of business against Altona Magic here a fortnight ago. In fact, I think that one might have been at Paisley Park, but then here, of course, the 3-2 win against Heidelberg last week, and a little volley there from Lampard, looking to set something up early. And across the face going Brennan. It's going to end up falling wide of the stick, but South Melbourne looking to press early here. Plenty of energy out here at George Andrews tonight. A warm evening, as had obviously been forecast. Right now, we're just sitting on 28 degrees. It was a 7 o'clock kickoff initially, Brent. That's been moved up to 8:15 just to combat some of the weather.
It has cooled off significantly with the sun going down, but still in the low 30s as we make our way through the early minutes here at George Andrews, which have been dominated just quietly by South Melbourne. Here's Brennan in the mix again. Ball into the mix. Alessi rises, doesn't quite clear the 18-yard box. It's helped away by Wade Decker into the starting 11. Tonight's goal-scoring champion. It's his 3rd start of the season. And ball out of play, a throw-in for South. And these are some early testing moments for Adam Pittock's side. And we know how dangerous South Melbourne are from all sorts of set pieces, but in particular, the Max Mikula throw-ins. They would have come in with a plan the Thunder trying to limit these particular opportunities for South. It's rifled in by Mikola, slicing the attempted clearance with Suleimani, and then 5 or 6 players jump over the top of the Thunder captain, and an easy foul for our official in the middle this evening, Ross Clark.
Now, Brent, quickly, these pitch dimensions not really conducive for the long throw. There's not much room at all for Max Mikola to get that run up. We saw it there, so this will be one of the more difficult venues for him in that respect.
You saw how cramped he got, and the long ball forward for the Thunder. And backtracking is Javi Lopez, misses just the one match with injury. Of course, they had their goalkeeper, Jonathan Petula, sent off early in the second half last week in that 2-0 loss to Preston. What an occasion that was. South going down after losing to St Albans on Monday night earlier that week, so 2 losses in the space of 5 days. And the goalkeeper that come on last week, Jake Charleston, is on the bench this evening. The Thunder taking their turn in possession. And out it comes for Ali Suleimani, fresh off that brace last week, 2 goals from the penalty spot. Here is Jallo. 4 goals in his first 5 games for the Thunder. And Taylor, Thunder pressing into the back post, and a timely interjection there from Morgan Evans. And just as the Thunder player was arriving at the back post, and it's behind for the Thunder's first corner kick of the evening.
It's been another chaotic weekend so far in NPL Victoria. Some bizarre results across the board. One other live game that kicked off before this one. Still scoreless between Altona Magic and Dandenong City right now. Dandenong Thunder looking at a corner. Taylor's ball in. And it actually did pick out, I think it might have been Wade Decker. Ball's cleared out eventually for South Melbourne. They'll try to go again. Some early contact, an early decision for our referee, Ross Clark. The foul call will go Dandenong's way. On the outer side, Messi Mehmedi will come across to take it. Dandenong Thunder picked up 10 out of a possible 15 points so far this season. It's South that are absolutely pointless in their last 2 outings, but a good recent history against this opponent. Not since 2021 has Dandenong Thunder claimed a victory against South Melbourne. Ball's up for grabs here. And some shirts being pulled perhaps as Yoshida worked hard to get in front of Marko Jankovic. And it will be a Dandenong Thunder ball. As Brent mentioned, it's Lee Monopolis in charge tonight for the suspended Esteban Quintas. Just a calamitous round 5 for South, of course, looking to make amends for that. Of course, round 4 as well. And the nature of which they suffered that 3-0 loss at home to St Albans. It's another dead ball here for Dandenong Thunder. They're all lined up at the top of the area, awaiting this ball from Kyle Taylor. And he's gone very high and overcooked it by some weight. And it's a wasted opportunity for Dandenong Thunder.
I'd like to see them make a bit more of their opportunities from set pieces this evening, the Thunder. Coming into this match, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. A win here on match day 1 at home against the Gully. And then a bit of an unlucky loss against Hume City. They led for a long time that night before Lloyd Isgrove decided that Hume City were not going to go home losers. Here's an opportunity for Max Mikola, who pounces on the loose ball. Brennan aligns himself in the 18-yard box. It's a nice ball into the penalty area from Max Mikola, but Wade Decker had it covered, and then it's pumped further to safety by his defensive teammates. They eventually lost 2-1 to Hume City, then that 2-2 draw in the derby the following week. 98th-minute equaliser that they conceded. And then a gritty 1-0 win away from home against Altona, and then that come-from-behind win against Heidelberg United last week. So yet to lose at home this season, the Thunder. 2 wins and a draw. Lined up in their quintessential 3-4-3 as Decker plays it forward. Daniel Clark, who's had a haircut since I saw him last, is in pursuit. A throw in on the fringes of the attacking third for Ali Suleimani, who of course spent that 1 season with South in 2023. Had been at the Thunder prior to that, returned last year. 3 goals already this season, 2 of them last week. Jarlo not able to control that one. And another disappointing end to an adventure forward. Of course, goal scoring was problematic last season, just 29 for the Thunder, the lowest of all the top division sides. But they have completely revolutionised their attack with those signings of Hassan Jallow and Daniel Clark, who hasn't scored yet this season, but has certainly created a lot in the front 3. Suleimani with 3 goals to his name as well. Ben Gibber sticks his head in a dangerous place and earns a free kick for the Thunder. And just 1 win over South in their last 18 contests dating back to 2013. They'd love to end that little hoodoo this evening. Decker in for the 18-yard box, cleared away by Yankovic. Only as far as Kyle Taylor and now Mehmeti. Gibber, another former South Melbourne player. Mehmeti plays it out off the South Melbourne player and out of play. Expect the Thunder to have a lot of possession tonight. South dead last for average time in possession so far this season, which is not a shock. They are a team that don't mind playing without the ball and playing on the counter-attack and threatening from set pieces. There's a throw in here for the Thunder right in the corner.
Pressing early here, Dandenong Thunder. Taylor happy to concede the ground, and they'll utilise the space at the back. Clark with the ball control, it was effective. Gibber sneaking into the area here against his former side. They earn another corner. Promising start this for Dandenong Thunder. The last ball, which was a free kick from well outside the box, was wasted by Kyle Taylor. His previous corner from this spot was much more effective. Actually picked out Wade Decker in the air. This time he goes a little higher. Cleared out easily. Yoshida with the second ball in. Just off balance there was Taylor. This time it'll be a throw. It's Gibber coming over for Thunder. Clark patient. Decker lets it go. Jarlo. What a revelation he's been so far in season 2025 in NPL Victoria. Came into round 6, tied at the top of the goal scoring charts in NPL Victoria. He's already found the back of the net 4 times for Dandenong Thunder. Up for grabs in midfield. Lovely header there from Taylor. It was played on quickly. On the back foot was Marshall. Going high into the night sky here at George Andrews. It's all happening in the air right now. A late whistle from Ross Clark. Lee Monopolis in the south dugout, and we are missing Esteban Quintas for being quite vocal so far here, Brent Sternberg.
They're barking out the instructions. Not as loud and not as animated as the number 1 manager. Nicola backpedaling, but the pass over hit from Marko Yankovic. We've seen already Hassan Jallow His speed on a couple of occasions has worried the back four of South Melbourne. They have to be alert and keep him on the radar all night. And so many of the goals he's scored this season have come from devastating late runs in behind. South coming into this one with 2 wins. They did open the season with a couple of victories and then a very entertaining 3-3 draw against the Melbourne Victory, and then, of course, 2 losses. Here come the Thunder, just willing it forward. Clark looking to link it up with Decker. Jordan Lampard getting in the way. Lampard was one of South's best players in that loss to Preston last week. Clark. Now here is Decker just having a good look around and then happy to retreat. And Amarongan and back for Mehmeti. Not entirely sure who his pass was designed for there. There's George Mells. A long ball forward, brought down by Mikolo, wanders into the 18-yard box. He takes the shot nice and early. It's a shot off target if it skims the side netting and goes behind for a goal kick.
You'd be struggling to find a better goalkeeping matchup than this one. Jamie Young at one end, Javier Lopez at the other. I just wonder how different it might have been at BT Connor last week if Harvey Lopez was out there for South. South Melbourne ball here. Lampard. Marshall one way, then the other. Lampard again. Leach. South Melbourne happy to sit on it right now. Wait for the opportunity to present. Exercise the patience. Yankovic getting involved. Dandenong Thunder now pushing up here. South have inadvertently got themselves onto the back foot. Back with Lopez now. No long balls until now. In the direction of Brennan. It was reclaimed really nicely by Suleimani. Decker goes through a couple, including Jarlo and Clark. Mehmeti on the outer side. Van Amarongan. Nice ball for Decker. And one inclusion into the starting 11 from the one that took down Heidelberg last week. The ball in from Suleimani. Yoshida's at the back. Yuki Yoshida, ball in. Jarlo not that far away. Yankovic got a boot in. Still inside the box here. It was pinballing around there just for a moment. Back to safety in the end. From the South Melbourne perspective. Young a long way out of his area. Set the task for Van Amarongan. Ross Clark waves that off, and we keep on going here with this attack for Dandenong Thunder. The long ball toward the back post now. Lopez compelled to put a glove on it. Decker will chase it down. It's Wade Decker. Searching ball in. Put in a really dangerous spot as well. Harding rushed with the clearance back out. Mehmeti will go again. Decker was there with Lopez. But I don't think either one of them touched it.
Oh, that was a very promising 90 seconds or so there for the Thunder. Looking absolutely electric, and it just needed that touch at the back post. Wade Decker straining every last muscle in his 30-year-old body. They've started well, the Thunder. This has been a reoccurring theme in matches this season. The problem has been they haven't always scored when they've had the momentum. And Harvey Lopez must be still struggling with injury, not taking the goal kicks this evening. That duty's being left to Jake Marshall. Yoshida going down in midfield. And that time the Thunder do win the foul. And Yuki Yoshida, another one who has added a lot to that attacking firepower for Adam Piddick's side. Here's Decker. Undercooked the pass a little bit. And Suleimani trying to salvage it. He did ever so well. And then Decker wins the foul. And the South Melbourne players and the officials down below us are growing a little frustrated. Ross Clark coming over to try and diffuse the situation with a little bit of lecturing. No yellow cards as of yet. But an opportunity for the Thunder to take a set piece and continue to push South Melbourne further and further back against the ropes. Suleimani receives it from Taylor. Decker looking to try and recruit the run of Suleimani, who just got there about an inch too late, and Lopez is happy to see it go behind for a goal kick. In that match last week against Preston, the South, they only had 6 shots on goal. Preston's 12. Just the 1 shot on target. The South only had 3 touches in their attacking penalty area to Preston's 22. So that shows you Preston, even though they only won by 2-0 and they only scored those 2 goals after South went down to 10 men, Preston were much the better team. The South looking to avoid losing 3 matches in a row in the league since the Thunder last beat them in 2021. Decker, they're calling for handball, and Ross Clark was in a good position to see it. It was a 4-1 win for the Thunder here at George Andrews, match day 21 in 2021. And that was South's 3rd consecutive defeat. That's the last time they have lost 3 games in a row in the league. Looking to avoid that tonight. Andy Brennan goes to ground rather easily, and it's behind for a Thunder goal kick.
It's a little chippy out there. Ross Clark's been busy. You'd have thought, just with the form lines, Brent, that tonight's a golden opportunity for Dandenong Thunder to right the ship in terms of their form against South Melbourne, but it is a pretty strong starting 11 that they've been able to bring out tonight. That ball's not going to be chased down by Daniel Clark. They're a wounded animal right now, South. Both sides have had a couple of opportunities to score in the early exchanges here. We have passed 20 minutes now. And I must say, Brent, it's not stifling here tonight. We've gone below 30 at kickoff. But still, obviously, warmer than usual for a kickoff at 8:15. Jamie Young is absolutely screaming out towards his teammates on that outer side. It took a while for that ball to be thrown back in. The Suleimani ball here for Decker. Double teamed, and Leach will take it away for South. And a little touch from Brennan. Nothing will come of that. We're back with Jamie Young. You want to talk about experience, Brent? 39 years of experience at a very high level that Jamie Young brings to the table here for Dandenong Thunder. Harding clearing out. Playing in a right wing-back spot right now is Rob Harding. For obvious reasons last week, South had to shuffle the magnets, so to speak. Some players playing out of position. It included the rare double sub for Lucas Durso, coming on and coming off in the same game. Jibber here for Dandenong Thunder. They've probably just edged out South Melbourne in the territory game here so far. They'll keep it in the attacking third here. Jibber going quickly and long, but not picking out any teammates. The first little touch there from Brennan. This is Van Amerongen. Young for Soleimani. Three goals for only Soleimani so far. Two of those from the spot last weekend. Gets it back from Young and advances. Taylor in the middle of the park. Sharing it with Mehmeti. It was Marshall getting in front of Hassan Jallo.
You can see their plan of attack or their plan of defence, more to the point, South Melbourne. Whenever it looks like Jallo or Ushida are going to get in behind, or Daniel Clark for that matter, not taking any risks whatsoever. Play the ball out to touch and live to fight another day. Here is Clark trying to wriggle himself out of a cul-de-sac. Eventually he's ended up flat on his backside. Concede possession. The Thunder. Alessi, I think, had a complete fresh air swing there. He's got covering his captain Soleimani all the way back to Jamie Young, who was a great pickup, or is a great pickup for the Thunder this season. Just the one clean sheet through the first 5 matches in that 1-0 win over Altona. Taylor in a little bit of pocket of space. He's allowed to roam forward. Charlie Leach eventually tracking him down, and Taylor giving it away rather disappointingly. And this is where South Melbourne go after the blood of opponents. Nicola just treading on the ball, literally. South Melbourne coaches down below us want a foul. Ross Clark keeping the whistle out of his mouth. Soleimani. So much has gone through him on this near or right-hand side for the Thunder in this first half. And a heavy touch from Ishida. He looks back and applauds the creativity of Ali Soleimani, and also half apologises that he couldn't bring that one under his spell. And just on that last time that the Thunder were able to get the 3 points against South, of course, they're not the only team that South have dominated down the years. That was a match day 19 clash in 2021. 4-1 victory. The goal scorers for the Thunder that evening: Thomas Maricic, Hamish Watson, Noel Bernarda scored for the Thunder that day, and Josh Meeker. Opportunity here for Jibber. He's in a foot race with his former teammate Robert Harding. Jibber wins the throw in. The goal scorer that day for South Melbourne was Liram Almazi. Since that win, 5 consecutive for South Melbourne, including 2 last season. The Thunder retreating again. Having to go back, keep possession and try and reconnect the dots. Here's Soleimani again, receiving from Alessi. Thinks it in for Wade Decker, who had strayed offside. And that thrust forward for the Thunder comes to nothing more than a free kick for the opposition. And the 2 clashes last season. The most recent one was on match day 21, where South won 1-0 at Lakeside, a 26th minute Harrison Sawyer goal. South won here 2-1. Match day 8 last season, a match from which Esteban Quintas was also suspended. And he's watching from the sidelines again. At George Andrews this evening, he's watching his team win a foul here. And perhaps they can construct something from the dead ball here, South Melbourne.
Adam Piddick wasn't happy with the call. Voiced his protests in the direction of Poya Gardarini, our fourth official this evening. George Mells sits over the top of the dead ball here for South Melbourne. They're all positioned in the top back corner from where this ball will come. Archibald here going first time. Difficult one for Clark to keep under control, but did well. Charlo, the only man up right now for Dandenong Thunder. Had two defenders around him. Taylor dispossessed, but it will be his throw. The designated throw taker is Benjiba for Dandenong Thunder. Charlo trying to work his way in right now. A lot of traffic going through Wade Decker. Up front for Thunder. Had the one shot that he blazed away. Wasn't the worst attempt you'll see from Hassan Jallo. But ultimately it was nothing for Harvey Lopez to worry about.
Make sure Rob knows the same on the other side. Much higher.
It's been another weird and wonderful week in NPL Victoria so far. Missed the final of the 7 kickoffs for the weekend. A lot of high-scoring games. 4 goals at Avenger Park earlier today. And a 3-1 win for Avondale against Preston.
The unstoppable Avondale.
Back to their absolute championship best, Avondale, it would seem, here in season 2025. Over the head of Brennan. Leach gets in there in front of Decker, but Decker's going to be the one to end up with possession. Ball incoming. Soleimani. Over the head of Jarlo. Jibba was lurking. Dumped out by South Melbourne. Van Amerongen. The Dutchman. This is Jibba. On the outskirts of the box. All the way through to Harvey Lopez. If you're Adam Pittick, you're pretty happy with what your team's putting out here right now. A lack of cohesion that time between Mikola and Leach. South, the ones that want to play the tempo game. Dandenong Thunder are a little more keen to get on with it. They've given it away a bit too cheaply here. Archibald going quickly in the direction of Brennan. Andy Brennan for South Melbourne. Gets right up to the line. Mikola was there waiting down. Still a chance here for South Melbourne. Lampard's ball in. Is that going to be South Melbourne's first corner of the night? No, according to Ross Clark.
And a bit of a relief for all of the Thunder players and coaches and fans here this evening. Good crowd has built. I think when they started to get a sense that it wasn't going to be quite as hot and oppressive as forecast, they thought, let's go enjoy some Saturday night football. The boys have been playing well at home. Let's see if we can cheer them on to a rare victory against South Melbourne, and if that comes to pass this evening, second spot on the table will be theirs, thanks to the results throughout the rest of match day 6. Decker, Clark, now Ashida, the Thunder roll forward. Everything going through the captain, Ali Soleimani. The overlap run from Ushida. Perfectly timed from Soleimani. Ushida in towards the near post. Jallo was arriving, but not arriving quickly enough, and jumping on the grenade is the returning South goalkeeper in Harvey Lopez. Of course, we have a top division now where every team has tasted victory. Green Gully and Melbourne Victory, the last two teams to win. They did So last night's Gully with a 3-0 win at home over the Knights, and holy mackerel, did they need that. David Chick's side in the victory with a win over Port Melbourne by the same scoreline, 3-0. The other result last night was a bit of a surprising one. Heidelberg United and Hume City, a coin flip game, I thought, going into that one anyway. Adam, they ended up winning the Burgers 5-1 and a hat-trick for Asahi Yokokawa, the first hat-trick of the season.
It's some way to get your revenge over a side that knocked you out on penalties last year. We have no ball to resume this game with right now. There's a marshal on the outer side that is standing right next to a ball. The kids now come over and retrieve the original from the car park, and we can get on with it.
Not quite the ball kids that we have at Lakeside. The balls are back in a flash at Lakeside.
Max Mikula takes some instructions before this throw. Will give himself as much room as possible to deliver this one into the box. And it's a very, very good ball in. The secondary one from Mel's denied quickly. Brennan gives it away. Jib up. One of the easier calls that Ross Clark will need to make tonight. The cheap foul given away by Harding. Decker. Uchida tried to turn quickly on Jankovic. Jankovic gives him some verbal afterward as well. Uchida wasn't happy with how Jankovic handled him. We're back with Jamie Young now. And again, Brent, they want to get on with it, Dandenong. It's an up-tempo game plan that we've seen Adam Pittock roll out here. And they're on the attack again. Ali Suleimani. Taylor. Mehmeti working his way up on the left side. He'll be the one to go in. Uchida was there. Somehow Harvey Lopez denied it. The flag was up anyway. But Harvey Lopez showing his class yet again.
Well, in spite of the offside flag, that's a terrific save from Harvey Lopez, and you can see why we talk about him being dearly missed when he's not between the posts for South. There's a reason he's been goalkeeper of the season here in the NPL Victoria on multiple occasions. .35 minutes gone here at George Andrews Reserve, the final match of match day 6. Still 0-0 between the Thunder and South. Not too many goalmouth opportunities to tell you about really for either side. The Thunder absolutely have had the lion's share of possession. It's the sort of game, the longer it stays 0-0, the more you would think that would probably fancy South Melbourne. We know how many matches they've been able to crash and bash and win 1-0 down the years. That one's just going to race away from Ben Gibber. Of course, Noel Bernarda tonight out through injury. No more Harrison Sawyer, so that's their two leading goal scorers from last season that aren't here to help them tonight. Max Mikula was next best in 2024 with just 5 goals. Ball into the box. Decker flicks down the header. It's flagged down by Suleimani. Red and black in the area, lofting it in towards the back post where it's well claimed by Harvey Lopez, who might have taken out one of his teammates in the process. And Ross Clark is coming over just to make sure that both South players are indeed okay. And Wade Decker, meantime, is having a bit of a verbal stoush with Jake Marshall. Marko Jankovic, I should say. It's Jake Marshall who is waving for the trainers. I think it's Ross Archibald that's a little bit sore here. And the trainer heading out to have a look at him. Must have been the referee, I think, suspects that it's a head injury of some sort. That's why the game has been stopped. Archibald, I'm sure you can see on our pictures, back up on his feet now. Injury starting to pile up at South. They don't want to be losing one of their better midfield assets. As we all just pause for a moment. And we might have had something that has drawn the ire of the referees in amongst all of that, because Ross Clark has come over to have a discussion with his linesman on this near side. And just getting some advice. He talks potentially of a high elbow that might have caused all of that. Ross Clark wants to have a chat with Yuki Ushida. Is he the guilty party, Adam?
Just took a good look at the replay, and it was an errant elbow that really wasn't necessary. Clearly caught by the lino, and then a long conversation with Ross Clark. And it all results in a yellow card for Yuki Uchida. Just unnecessary, Brent, more than anything else.
His second of the season. So Ushida is the first player into the book, and perhaps most importantly, Ross Archibald is A-OK. As we wander our way towards the final 5 minutes here at George Andrews Reserve. Harvey Lopez to take the free kick. To the support of the crowd. Alessi leaping over the top of Andy Brennan and out of play. Is there a late goal potentially to be had here to change the dynamic of this one as the teams head down the tunnel and into half-time? Oh, it sits here for Brennan, the timely interception of Van Amerongen. Gibber wins the foot race against Harding. Well, Harding left a little piece in there on Ben Gibber, and the Dandenong Thunder bench down below us are up, and they are irate. They thought that stopped an advancement forward, and a rapid one at that for the Thunder. We're calling for another yellow card to be brandished. There isn't. The Thunder maintain possession in any case.
Ross Clark, an experienced referee. He was the one that was actually in charge of that final last year that we spoke of before between Heidelberg and Hume City. And he has to stop play again. This time, it's Hassan Jalo that's gone down. Helped up by Marko Jankovic. Ali Soleimani has his discussion with Ross Clark here.
It's been a bit of a monotone first half. It hasn't really been a first 45 of peaks and troughs. You just get the sense that the Thunder fans are trying to inject some energy and hopefully see that reflected on the pitch from their players.
We are inside the final 4 minutes of regulation. There will be quite a bit of time added on at the end of this first half. Ball sent in by Mehmeti. Up into the sky we go. A little back flick there from Brennan. Soleimani at the back of this particular formation. Mehmeti. Not a bad ball at all. Van Amerongen was there. Still a dangerous situation here. It's just sprayed wide by Uchida. That was the chance of the half so far. Yuki Uchida Not that far off at all, but it's still a scoreless game at George Andrews.
Well, it deserved a goal. Exquisite effort from Machida to get out of trouble there, turning away. Oh, just seeing it on the replay, brilliant. They cannot have missed by much. And as you rightly said, Adam, the best opportunity of the first half goes the way of the home side, but it goes by the wayside. Machida, who blazed that one across the face and threw himself to the turf in amazement that he hadn't scored. Yet to open the account for the Thunder this season. Does have one assist to his name. Then Amarongan. And out for Mehmedi. The Thunder will build another attack. Gibber and back to Mehmedi. Decker, who's been a wonderful inclusion back into the starting 11 for the Thunder. Young, they're flirting with danger here, the Thunder. And that is how they did concede that first goal to Heidelberg last week. No doubt their fans at George Andrews are having memories of that goal. The long diagonal is going to be shielded all the way out of play by Jordan Lampard. Still the Thunder trying to design a way forward and in between the vaunted South Melbourne defence. That have been letting in goals of late, I might add. 8 goals in the last 3 games. 3 in the draw, 3-all draw to Melbourne victory, 3 in the loss to St Albans, and then 2 last week against Preston. Decker, Mells, Taylor, loses out to Max Mikkola. South on the burn. Mikkola plays it right across the 18-yard box. Harding trying to bring it down for Charlie Leach, whose shot deflects and corkscrews straight up and down. Punched away by Young. Brennan goes past one Dandenong Thunder defender, and that's really well done there by Andy Brennan to earn a late corner kick here for South Melbourne.
I believe this might be their first of the evening as well. Mells will take it. He's going to take it right at the end of regulation. We should get a couple of minutes added on at least. There was that long conversation that Ross Clark had with his assistant that resulted in the yellow card for Yoshida. 3 minutes have been confirmed by the 4th official. Ball incoming from Mells. Secondary ball now. Thunder had plenty of numbers back. Cleared out eventually by Taylor. Marshall boots it toward the outer side. We also had missing footballs at one point, requiring one of the younger fans here to go and retrieve the ball from the car park. So we've had a few moments of stoppages, resulting in these 3 minutes being added on. It's Hassan Jallo that finds himself out of position right now. Alessi. Decker goes first time. Yoshida. The combination with Decker working well so far. Lopez had fallen over, got a glove on it. Luckily, the next touch was a South one. And now another corner to deal with. Another chance for Kyle Taylor from this outer side. Now we set for some late first half drama at George Andrews Reserve. This will be the 3rd corner taken from that outer side, right in front of the players' race here by Kyle Taylor. Little back flick there from Clark. Another corner The second and third goals that Dandenong Thunder scored last week did start with a corner. And what ended up being a 3-2 win against Heidelberg United. Clark again at the front position as the shallow ball came in. Going in very hard. I think it might have been Max Mikler.
He's very lucky there, Max Mikler, I think, not to go into the referee's book. Definitely got there second and left a little bit in on Ben Gibbert, who quite rightly didn't particularly enjoy that treatment. We've played just about the 3 minutes that we were promised. And maybe the Thunder might be happy to just bunker down and start again for the second half. It's Kyle Taylor having a good look around. South Melbourne not really interested in coming up and pressing. Ross Clark has a look at the watch. Doesn't blow it, not yet anyway. Ball into the penalty area, doesn't quite get to Hassan Jallo. Cleared away by South Melbourne, and that'll do us for a first half here at George Andrews in the deep southeast on the end of a warm day here in old Melbourne town. The first half where the home side had lion's share of the possession, but not a lot of clear-cut opportunities to tell you about. Yuki Achita certainly had the best look for the home side. A wonderful turn out of trouble, and then a shot that he blazed right across the goal mouth and inexplicably didn't find the back of the net. And so, at the end of the opening 45, we are where we started, with these teams locked at 0-0. Dandenong Thunder certainly look like the team that are going...
Haide Flori, Mbushe Portunat.
Welcome back to George Andrews, everybody. Just about set for the second half here between Dandenong Thunder and South Melbourne, where it is 0-0 between the two sides. Brent Sternberg and Adam Serakoglu here with you on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. This is the final match of match day 6. No Sunday afternoon games this weekend and no Monday night games in the top division anyway. One change that you might have seen, pulled by South Melbourne at half-time. Charlie Leach is being replaced by Luca Durso, who Adam mentioned in the first half was substituted in and out of the match that South lost to Preston last week. So what are we going to see in this second? With Dandenong Thunder corner kicks, but they couldn't create too much. And the best opportunity of the opening 45 certainly went the way of the boys in red and black. Yuki Yoshida blazing it across the goal mouth. And I just wonder, Adam Serakoglu, who might be the happier of the two managers as we venture into the second half?
It's certainly been a tale of two styles. That's nearly going to land in our commentary area. That was a very high ball. Because we know, and you touched on it throughout the first half, how patient South can be. They don't have to have a lot of possession. We'll see what Durso can do here with the fresh legs. Looking to get around Mehmeti. Gets right to the line and played back. Van Amerongen's there for Thunder. Archibald gets in front of Jibba. And that's opposed to Dandenong Thunder with far less patience, just wanting to get on with it and play a little quicker. But either style, or neither style, really resulting in any multiple major chances. This man, Uchida, had the best chance in the first half. He got ripped down by Mikola. Nothing to see in the eyes of Ross Clark. Long ball here intended for Clark, who slips over, but had space and time to recover. So, to answer the question, which coach would be happier? I dare say both would be relatively pleased. Perhaps Adam Piddick would be slightly happier. Of course, Esteban Quintas not in action tonight for South Melbourne. Already picking up multiple yellow cards in this still young NPL Victoria season. It's Lee Monopoulos taking charge this evening. Here's Jibba. Uchida, he is the danger man. Sent out wide for Soleimani. Uchida just chipping one over the top. Jarlo had a number of defenders around him and then blazed away a little too cheaply by Clark. And what was a promising build-up for Dandenong Thunder gets thrown away in the end. Yes, I think Adam Piddick would be relatively pleased, and then obviously factor in that we did have a half-time substitution from South. Perhaps a sign, unless it is injury-related with Leach coming off, perhaps a sign that South are the ones wanting to make some adjustments and change a couple of things up. As we see Taylor over the top of it right now. And he finds himself under a bit of pressure.
Well, Taylor going down and in fact staying down. That challenge flooring the Swiss-born Englishman. Here comes Daniel Alessi rolling forward. Jarlo the turn. And Jake Marshall arriving at just the right time. This has been a high-octane start for the Thunder. Clark was very good in that first 45. Gibber in possession on the touchline, being stalked by Harding. The ball into the 18-yard box and cleared away by Morgan Evans. We've got another game going on this evening. Altona at home against Dandenong City. That game also 0-0. As Daniel Clark plays it out off the South Melbourne player. And it's gone out for a throw-in. Lucadurso looks like he's lined up in midfield, a like-for-like replacement for Charlie Leach. And I wonder if that is maybe just a substitute due to injury. Throw-in taken quickly for the Thunder. Jarlo can't find his sheeter. Cleared away by Archibald. Van Amerongen plays it forward again. Clark. And now Taylor. Deciding against shooting from distance. Here's Suleimani. And Decker. Right across the 18-yard box. There's Sheeter on the turn. Jarlo there as well. But the white shirts descend and eventually clear it away to the relative sanctuary of the halfway line, where Suleimani doesn't see it bounce out of play. In fact, he does. And so a throw in for South Melbourne on that far side. If you weren't with us in the first half, we have one player on a yellow card. That is Dandenong Thunder's Yuki Ushida. Ross Clark, our official, in the middle. And our linesman this evening, Mark Tito, John White, and our fourth official is Puya Garderian. A throw in once more for the Thunder, chasing their first win over South Melbourne since 2021. It would be just their second win over South for 12 years if they were to pull it off. A nice ball in behind from Mehmeti. Daniel Clark, the tight angle, fires it across, parried away by Lopez. And South Melbourne don't quite clear the dangerous area. It's another high clearance, but not a penetrating one. And out of play by Robert Harding. Kyle Taylor arrives quickly to take the throw in. In fact, he'll leave it for Ben Gibber.
That's twice now we've seen Javi Lopez with the off-balance parry that still kept the ball in danger. Of the two keepers, he has very much been the one on the back foot for most of the evening so far. The longer this goes, the more that Dandenong Thunder are the ones looking the goods here at George Andrews. Some heavy contact between Mikola and Alessi. Alessi still going. Jarlo, Decker, thought about it, cuts inside. Still Wade Decker. Ball was blocked. A lot happening out on George Andrews Reserve right now. Alessi does it again. Clark. Uchida was asking for it out wide. Gets it now. Yuki Uchida. Has some help from Suleimani if he wants to go there. Still Uchida now. Sending it in, Decker! How did Javi Lopez save that? It'll be a corner. Outstanding at the near post. Javi Lopez had to react instantly, and he denied Wade Decker.
Well, South Melbourne at their brilliant defensive best. It's not quite job done just yet. Mercer Mehmeti has a corner kick for the Thunder. It's been an electric first 6 or 7 minutes of this second half. Is there a goal on the end of this one? Into the mix. Van Amerongen rises. And the towering Dutchman heads it over and behind. He got a great look. He just couldn't keep it down. Would have been just about the Thunder's most unlikeliest of goal scorers. And it's the pressure valve released for South Melbourne. But what a save from Javi Lopez, who didn't take too many goal kicks in the first half. Looks like he is going to take this one. And still no doubt feeling the effects of that injury that kept him absent from the matchup with Preston last week. Dandenong Thunder and their fans have got to be wondering how on earth they are not in front. They've had a lot of promising moments in the 18-yard box develop already in this second half. Mel's. South Melbourne play it forward. And it may sit here potentially for Andy Brennan, whose shot is smothered. Acrobatically an unorthodox clearance from Suleimani. South Melbourne potentially now a chance to, if nothing else, spend a little bit of time in possession and keep this dogged Dandenong Thunder side at bay. South coming off the back of 2 consecutive losses. They haven't lost 3 in a row in the league for 4 years. Jarlo being watched closely by Jankovic. Jarlo's trying to get past him. He can't, and that's because Jankovic ripped him down, and it will most certainly be a yellow card for South Melbourne's centre-half, Marko Jankovic. His first booking of the season. He's normally a very clean defender, Marko Jankovic. He didn't receive a lot of yellow cards last season. That one was as obvious as can be. And he took one for the team really there, Marko. He did not want to let the slippery Hassan Jallow get past him. And when he did, he thought, okay, you're not getting any further. Jamie Young, long diagonal looking for Suleimani. Lampard intervening. And there is a sense of anticipation at George Andrews right now as they are anticipating a ball first and foremost, and once we are back underway, they feel like this Dandenong Thunder side have a goal in them. They certainly look the more likely to score. I did mention that late in the first half. It's been a very bright start for the boys in red and black. Jarlo can't turn and find any space for himself on that occasion. Van Amerongen, who's let it run, and a big mistake. Luca Durso showed a little bit too much of it. What a recovery from Ties Van Amerongen. Brilliant defending, still South Melbourne in possession. Archibald's first time ball. Young should have it covered. And back in the safety of the gloves of the Thunder keeper.
The way Van Amerongen chased down Durso there is so much larger than Durso. And just ripped him down from behind so quickly. Yuki Yoshida decides not to hit it. Played it back to Decker. The chaos ball comes in again. Clark, Yoshida, and finally the goal comes! Yuki Yoshida does it again! It felt like it was coming. And finally, Dandenong Thunder take a deserved lead at George Andrews Reserve. Yuki Yoshida with his second goal for Thunder.
Well, that's nothing less than the Thunder deserve and nothing less than Yuki Yoshida deserves as well. He was the man that come closest in the first half. South Melbourne are behind again. Dandenong Thunder now have a lead to protect, or perhaps to build on, with just over a third of this match remaining. As we've got a little bit of a technical issue with Ross Clark down below us. I think he's just lost communication with the rest of his officials. So we will not reconvene until that is sorted out. But finally, the Thunder able to capitalise on a bit of a chaotic play inside the 18-yard box. And Yuki Yoshida, who only a few seconds earlier decided against shooting from distance when everybody here in the George Andrews Reserve was certainly calling for it, if not expecting it. And the locals are growing a little bit restless here as we have an impromptu delay. And what this is doing is taking a bit of the sting out of it. The Thunder might have liked to have kicked off nice and quickly and continued to generate some momentum. Ross Clark and Poya Garderian down below us, just swapping their technical equipment. If anybody knows a good IT person, they might be required. There haven't been any substitutions in amongst this delay. Adam Pittock sticking with the same 11. South Melbourne have made one, of course, Luca D'Urso, who only a minute or two prior to the Thunder scoring wasn't able to capitalise on a very shaky Thunder defensive error. And this has now been a very lengthy delay after the goal. Ross Clark makes his way back to the middle. Of course, all of this time will be added on at the end of the 90. You can already sense that that is going to loom large, the second half stoppage time. After all of that, Dandenong Thunder 1, South Melbourne 0. I remind you, on the live table, Dandenong Thunder are in second position on the table. And down goes Andy Brennan, one back by Van Armoronga, but a foul and a late whistle. Much to the displeasure of the home faithful, who are in full voice now. And free kick for George Mells as we head for the hour mark, past the hour mark at George Andrews. Mells floats it in towards the back post, players rising. It's allowed to bounce in the 18-yard box as Sheeta turns and clears. Jarlo, or can he get past the South Melbourne defender? He got past the first one, but not Mikola. Played forward, Gibber latches onto it. Dandenong Thunder lifting, buoyed by that goal. The Gibber's got two white shirts to deal with, and he eventually gives away the foul. And South Melbourne, who are on the ropes here, win that foul deep in their defensive third.
Harvey Lopez with the clearance, Alessi at the other ends of it. South Melbourne down again. Brent, I think we lost about maybe 3.5 minutes with that technical issue with the comms gear for Ross Clark. So that'll obviously be added on at the end. Brennan with the throw. Right in front of the Dandenong bench, who weren't happy with where Brennan was positioned. So South Melbourne need to respond. No Esteban Quintas tonight. Lee Monopolis in charge of South. They find themselves down yet again. Picked up 6 points in their first two fixtures of the season. Only a draw since. They'll get a look in a dangerous spot here as Mikola gets chopped down. And this could be the most promising chance yet for South Melbourne to really test Jamie Young. Only a yard or two outside the 18-yard box. Mikola does absolutely nothing with that free kick. Decides to get it past the wall. There were no issues for Jamie Young in the end. And so, beyond the hour mark, it's Dandenong Thunder leading a side they have not beaten in 4 years. And only once in so long, as Brent has mentioned earlier in this broadcast. Picking up the ball, ready to throw it back in was Harding, but it stayed in. Yoshida takes it away now. The previous goal kind of started like this. Has no outlet to the right. Yoshida goes himself. Lopez denies. Charlo was there. Luckily also for South Melbourne, Yankovic was there as well. We have a corner.
Well, I have no idea how that long ball stayed in. It looked for all money like it was going to disappear over the commentary gantry roof here and out. And Robert Harding down below us was actually setting himself to throw the ball in. His teammates and the fans had to let him know it's still in. And South just a little bit caught unawares there. Corner kick for the Thunder. Well, they will raise the roof if they are able to find a second goal. Almost scored from a corner kick earlier in the second half. The lethal left boot of Mersim Mehmedi. It's into the near post. It's a very disappointing delivery into the box. And now they've got to be careful they don't get caught going the other way. Dandenong Thunder, it's out for a throw in. And it belongs to the Thunder. South, as we know, has spent a lot of time behind in recent weeks. They only managed to come from behind to win once last season. That was in their win over the Thunder on match day 8. And the Thunder will know that it's not won and not sewn up just yet. How good has Yoshida been? Mikola lays it off for Lampard, who's trying to play the long ball forward. I think looking for Durzo. It's deflected and out of bounds. South have some attacking options on the bench as always. Jack Pope and the big Dane, Gustave Moller. And Andrew Messerini, who comes into the squad as well for this evening's clash, a former Port Melbourne player who scored a handful of goals for the Sharks last season. Lopez has given it away. Thunder continue to tighten the screws. Mehmeti for Gibber. Daniel Clark provides the run, but he's in a bit of a cul-de-sac. He somehow manages to dig out a pass for Gibber and Kyle Taylor. Gibber stalked by a couple in the white shirts with a nutmeg of Taylor. And Gibber couldn't quite arrive in time. And he was coming back from an offside position regardless, and so it'll be a free kick for South Melbourne. And the question is, where are they going to find the goals now to get a result or to get a win tonight without Noel Bernarda, who scored 16 goals for them last season, 12 in the league. No Harrison Sawyer, we know that. It felt like coming into tonight that this was a game that South would have to score more than one goal to get the win, and that is certainly going to be the reality now. As Brennan picks up the second ball, goes past Taylor, and stepping in and playing it away is Mercer Mehmedi. Another throw in here for South.
It's been a tough little stretch for South Melbourne. It's only getting tougher. Of course, we're at that time of year where they don't get a look at Lakeside, with some rather expensive cars making use of the surrounds of Albert Park as we speak. Before the goal, Lucas Inglese had received the instruction to get ready. It's going to be a double move. I think we're going to see Gustav Muller as well as Inglese in what would be South Melbourne's second substitution of the evening at halftime. Leach made way for Durso. Muller's going to slot in a central attacking position. Inglese waiting to come on. We're going to see the first moves of the night from Adam Piddick as well. A double change coming for Dandenong Thunder. Jay Romanovsky is going to come in. In fact, it might just be the one change. So here we go. Robert Harding and Morgan Evans are coming off for South Melbourne. We've got the change here for Dandenong Thunder as well. Ben Jibber's the one that's hovering around this sideline right now. Jay Romanovsky is the one waiting to come on. I'm not actually sure it will be Jibber. Yes, it will be Jibber, whose night is done. Plenty of movement at the train station before play resumes. Yoshida. This is the final game of match day 6 in NPL Victoria. Brent Sternberg mentioning just after the goal from Yuki Yoshida that right now on the live table, Dandenong Thunder sitting second. And South Melbourne languishing. If nothing changes here, they're on the verge of a third consecutive defeat. They'll be going to Hume City in 6 nights from now in this stretch of away fixtures due to the unavailability of Lakeside. They're going to get a throw here. There's absolute chaos out there right now. Ross Clark seemingly confused about what's going on. Was there some activity from the assistant referee calling for an offside? It's going to be a throw for South Melbourne after all of that. Not quite sure, Brent, what's going on there. But finally, ball incoming. What's becoming a rare entry in the box for South Melbourne, and it will be cleared out. We start again with Lampard. Looking to move it a bit quicker now. Mikola absolutely harassing his opponent there. They will get the corner. It's all happening. Mel's to take it for South.
Yeah, I think they were disappointed that the offside flag had gone up, but it was actually a throw in, so they were a little bit annoyed at that, but the officials had a chat with one another and rightfully changed the decision. Here's another corner kick for South, right in towards the goal mouth, and there's a foul pulled out from Ross Clark. A foul on the goalkeeper, so that's a little nervy moment for the Thunder to fuse. Still they sit on the 1-goal lead. Yuki Uchida, a 57th minute strike that separates these two sides. 72 minutes played. And Jamie Young goes into the book, trying to chew away a little bit of time. And the wily old veteran, he knows every second counts. Alessi, an awkward one for him. Ends up flat on his back after he skied that pass. South give it away in midfield. Clark for Jallo, who's going to run at the South defence. In behind for Daniel Clark, who cuts it back to the near post where Lopez had it covered. Yoshida was arriving at the back post, but it was far too tight of an angle to be able to play the pass across the goal mouth. South Melbourne trying to lift here, lift their sense of urgency and lift their energy as well. Lampard chases the long ball. It's out of bounds and a throw in. Well, the other match that we had kick off just before this one has finished 0-0 between Altona Magic and Dandenong City. I think from memory that's our first 0-0 draw of the season, transpiring at Paisley Park. So all eyes to George Andrews and to see if Dandenong Thunder can win. A long ball played forward. Jamie Young was off his line. Thankfully the long range effort was off target. Thunder looking for their third win in a row, looking to consign South Melbourne to their third loss in a row in the league. A fate they haven't suffered since the Dandenong Thunder beat them match day 19, 2021. Last time South lost 3 in a row in the league. The ball forward, Lopez thought about coming. Getting back there was Jake Marshall, not taking any risks. Throw in adjacent to the 18-yard box. Heading for the final 15 minutes here at George Andrews on a balmy early autumn Saturday night. The Thunder, who come into the 2025 season, I don't think too many were touting them as finals contenders. If things stay like this, they'll be second behind only the seemingly runaway Avengers through 6 match days. It's behind for a corner kick. Another one for the Thunder. They have looked dangerous from their 2 or 3 corner kicks that they've had in this second half. The last one left a bit to be desired. And South Melbourne behind and defending. All hands to the pump for the almighty South Melbourne, who are quaking and shaking right now. A great ball into the box. Headed away. Decker couldn't quite get it under his possession. Suleimani just about plays it onto the roof. In fact, does, of the Camille Rexepi grandstand. We're going to retrieve a loose football far quicker than the few little stoppages that we had in the first half.
So, Brent Sternberg, live table. Dandenong Thunder second, South Melbourne 9th. Right now in NPL Victoria. That took a South touch. Multiple balls onto the roof of the outer side grandstand. The Camille Rexepi grandstand. Not for the first time this evening. We're without a ball to resume play with. This wild and wacky NPL Victoria season, which is only 6 weeks old, continues to deliver the unexpected. You could have asked anyone 7 weeks ago, Brent, coming into this particular fixture, who would be second, who would be 9th. No one would have had Dandenong Thunder at the top of the table or near thereof, with the unstoppable Avondale doing what they're doing so far at the top of the Victorian top flight. There are still 13 minutes remaining in regulation, and there will be multiple minutes added on after the goal from Yuki Uchida. Ross Clark needed to run some repairs with his comms unit. And that took quite a bit of time. Another yellow card here for Thunder. This time it's shown to Kyle Taylor. Ross Clark not mucking around right now with the time-wasting tactics. We saw Jamie Young get booked earlier. So the bookings are starting to add up. Marko Jankovic, the only South Melbourne player on a booking so far here tonight. Back with Young. Is he giving that away? Alessi to get there. They've actually recovered nicely here, Dandenong Thunder. Taylor going first time. Young. The run being made by Romanovsky with the fresh legs. He might still get this ball. Jay Romanovsky to the left. Chipping ball into the box. Hassan Jalo. Flag goes up. There's a confidence right now about Dandenong Thunder. Absolutely taking it to South Melbourne, who seemingly don't have any easy answers here tonight at George Andrews.
Long ball ghosts through the warm night sky here at George Andrews. Van Amerongen back to the goalkeeper. They've looked a little bit shaky at times when doing that tonight, the Thunder. Taylor loses out to Gustav Moller. Oh, then Mel's asleep at the wheel. Jallo for Daniel Clark. Romanovsky's trying to get away from George Mel's. Taylor, Mikola comes in from behind and takes it right away. And back to Lopez. And he can't help but think somewhere in the precinct, Esteban Quintas is going against every fibre in his body not to ring one of the coaches on the bench and say, do this, do that, make this change. South haven't lost 3 of their first 6 games since 2019. That was the last season they missed the finals as Suleimani is clipped. They play the advantage. Decker opens up the angle and it's denied only by the crossbar. Thunder inches away from maybe icing it. Here comes Luca Durso, who gives it away. Boy, Decker could not have hit that any better. Harvey Lopez beaten all ends up. Jamie Young, get rid of it, they shout. And he does, away to the outer side and out of play. In the meantime, we're going to have another South Melbourne swap down below us. Andrew Mezzarini is going to enter the fray. And we've also got a Thunder player down off the play. I believe it's the captain, Ali Suleimani. This is going to add a little bit more time at the end of the 90. Andy Brennan is the player who will make way.
Wade Decker nearly broke the crossbar. It was shaking for quite some time there, Brent Sternberg. And I think it's official now. South Melbourne's officially under siege. This is becoming a real storyline in season 2025 in NPL Victoria. Multiple recent grand final appearances. Unless something drastic happens here tonight, on the verge of 3 consecutive defeats. Won't be an easy fixture. I know Hume City had their issues last night against Heidelberg, but that won't be an easy trip for South Melbourne on Friday night next week, going up to the Valley to take on Hume. There are more changes still to come. Messaroni and now Jack Pope are both going to come on. Brennan's already off for South Melbourne. And the second change is going to be Jordan Lampard. Lee Monopolis has no choice now, Brent, but just to throw everything at this and try to wrest back some control.
I gave you a bit of false information there, Adam. Sorry, I think it's Ross Archibald who's come off. Lampard was going to take the throw in. I thought he was leaving the pitch. My mistake. But here is Jack Pope. Somebody's got to try and conjure something here for South Melbourne. Mel's, a searching ball for Moller. Too tall even for him. Jarlo picks it up in midfield. Taylor and Clark. That combination has worked wonders tonight for the Thunder as they roll forward. It's not going to quite find its way to Wade Decker. Well, it will in the end, but by way of a throw-in. Well and truly into the final 10 minutes. Thunder have sat on this lead for 25 minutes. Since then, South have poked and prodded, but haven't really looked like finding an equaliser. Jarlo, again, attracting a crowd. Stuck in the corner there, and eventually it's another Thunder throw-in. Suleimani just taking the opportunity to stretch out his weary legs. Well, how vigorously do they chase a second goal here, the Thunder? Well, Pope's clearance only as far as Romanovsky. Going right around in a full circle. Well, giving it away, but it's deflected potentially for Clark. It just runs away from him tantalisingly. And a goal kick for South. Thunder only won 5 of their 13 games here last season. South were one of the best teams away from home in 2024. The Thunder, who had another off-season in the headlines for the wrong reasons. And well and truly look like they've turned things around on the park. Lampard retreating. Lopez, Decker closing. Lopez sees it up the pitch and it's headed out by Suleimani. South Melbourne growing ever more impatient. Mells, Marshall, and Glace. Trying to find their way through this Thunder side. Moller and Van Amarong in a battle between giants there. Again, it's turned over. Clark, can he find Jarlo? He sure can. Jarlo looking to go in for the kill. Can he open it up on his right boot? He goes right past Inglese and then cannot sneak it in at the near post, where he's denied once again quite brilliantly by Javi Lopez. And another corner kick beckons for the Thunder.
Javi Lopez has proven to be quite hard to beat this evening. It's yet another corner for Dandenong Thunder. We've only got about 5 minutes left in regulation. And we know they're dangerous from corners. Looking to double the advantage, and it's a long one out past the back post. Van Amarong has sent it up. Jarlo with some theatrics, giving away the foul. Still plenty of time for South Melbourne. Should get a minimum of 3 minutes added on because of the technical issues that Ross Clark had with the comms gear. That was right after the goal in the 57th minute from Yuki Uchida. His second goal for Dandenong Thunder. And as much as South Melbourne's woes are a key storyline in NPL Victoria right now, we have to pay homage to exactly what Dandenong Thunder have done here to start this season. They're looking at a third consecutive win. Have so far only dropped 4 points or 5 points in their new campaign. Adam Piddock now second year here. Actually had the chance to build this Dandenong Thunder outfit to his liking. We know he did some really good things with Port Melbourne. You can see where Port are now without Adam Piddock in charge. Dandenong Thunder, based on what we're seeing, absolutely one of the teams to watch in NPL Victoria. If this result holds, second on the table after 6. And it sets up for a top-of-the-table clash next weekend against Avondale. Unless South can find an equaliser here.
Terrific defensive effort again from the big Dutchman. I've waxed lyrical about their additions to the attack this season, the Thunder, but Van Amerongen has been terrific. And he's going to be called upon here as they are anticipating another long throw-in. This is where South Melbourne threaten the most. It's not going to quite reach Moller. Might sit here for Mezzarini, who lays it back to his teammate, who plays it into the box. It's headed away by Taylor. And back in by Inglese, and then a header. It's gone away from goal, if anything, by, I think that was Marko Jankovic. And behind for a goal kick that the Thunder will accept gleefully. Into the final 2 minutes of the 90. Thunder will make a change. Sevdam Ismaili will come in to join his comrades and will look to pack up the shop. Play goes on in the background. Taylor for Daniel Clark, who keeps on going. Teasing ball over the top. And Decker is well stymied by Jake Marshall. Lopez sends South on their way again. Lampard down the left channel. Bereft of options. Back for Pope. Game starting to become stretched. A match that's been played in pretty warm conditions. Mezzarini and Mikola, and then just banged forward without much thought by Suleimani. And the Thunder going to be allowed to make the change they desire. They will. It is Sevdam Ismaili coming on for Hassan Jallo. So there'll be no goal tonight for the Thunder striker. He won't mind if his side can hold on. Sevdam Ismaili comes on for his 6th appearance of the season, appearance number 107 in the top division. I'd imagine this would be one of his most enjoyable victories if the Thunder are to hold on. We head for the 90 at George Andrews. A poor giveaway by South. Taylor, Uchida, a heavy-ish first touch, concedes possession. Ismaili's just come on. A nice pass to find Clark. Beautiful turn to get free. A cheeky back heel as well for Taylor. Do they head for the corner, the Thunder? Romanovsky threatened to do so. Lines up across. It's going. Oh, it was tracking for the top right-hand corner. Lopez collects and sends South Melbourne on their merry way again.
The next key question to be asked, which we're about to get an answer for, is how long left? Because we've now hit the 90. And as the Thunder launch another attack here, is there a chance here for Clark? Romanovsky, it's going to be 7 additional minutes. Romanovsky inside the area. Is that going to be a corner? And it will be. 7 additional minutes here tonight. That is an eternity right now for Dandenong Thunder. They'll be second on the table even if South Melbourne can get an equaliser and it ends a draw here tonight. What a fixture we have here next week at George Andrews. It will be a top-of-the-table clash. Avondale against Dandenong Thunder. That's unless South can somehow snatch a victory. Right now, Dandenong Thunder with this corner looking to put it away. It was sent high by Alessi. Suleimani working hard to get front position. Had some help, Alessi there. Mel's for company. What's the call? Another Dandenong Thunder corner. Wow, it is going to be a huge Saturday night here in 7 nights' time, Brent. The table leaders against second on the table. Dandenong Thunder on the verge here of a 3rd consecutive win. Their biggest headache right now, the fact that 7 minutes were added on. And we're barely through one of those. Ball incoming. Harvey Lopez. South want to counter quickly. He just throws the chaos ball forward. Alessi there to play it back. Suleimani just out of reach of Uchida. Clark's been working hard all night for Thunder. Decker has an eternity of space if he was able to get the switching ball over, but it's turned over here. Can South Melbourne try and make something happen here? Mikola's at the top of the area. Gustav Muller has the height advantage. He tried to play it on. Ball sent high by Van Amerongen. Played back quickly by Inglese. It would be an unlikely equaliser here for South if they can get it. Applause around George Andrews' reserve as possession is handed back to Dandenong Thunder.
Well, last week was a wonderful win for the Thunder, beating another team that has tormented them for a number of years in Heidelberg United. They had to score 3 goals that night, had to come from behind twice. But you can sense from that reaction to that ball going out for a goal kick that the Thunder fans know this is an even bigger win. And to beat a team that they have seldom beat down through the years. They've only beaten them once in the past 12 years. This is the 27th league meeting between the two. South Melbourne leads 16 wins to 5 with 5 draws. They've won 14 of the last 18. South Melbourne are still going in search of a late equaliser. You'd have to think that they're resigned to their fate now, and they would think that they can only get a draw. Mezzarini, Moller, who again is tangling up with Van Amerongen. We remember all the goals we saw scored in second half stoppage time in their match against the Melbourne Victory a couple of weeks ago, as there's a foul and a yellow card being pulled out here for Mezzarini. And the Thunder, I don't think will be in too much of a hurry to take this. Just at times in the last 10-15 minutes, South Melbourne, they're a team that are chasing the game. They've almost looked like they've been playing with 10 men out there. I mean, they just haven't been able to really get their foot on the ball and create a golden opportunity. If anything, it's been the Thunder that have looked like far more threatening. It looked like scoring a second goal. Yoshita's done well to win a throw-in. Don't want to preempt things, but I can imagine that Yuki Yoshida is probably going to feature in the votes for this match. Still, his 57th minute strike separates the two and has the Thunder on track for a famous victory. Daniel Clark again may well be in the votes as well. Deck has been terrific. Uchida, Thunder going for the jugular. Here's Yuki Uchida! And again denied by a quite exquisite save from Javi Lopez. And if not for the man in green, this game would have been done and dusted well and truly. He has made 3 world-class saves in this second half alone, Javi Lopez. And Uchida must have thought he had a brace. Instead, it is merely a corner kick for the Thunder. We have played almost 5 minutes of our promised 7. How attacking are they here, the Thunder? They take it short. Uchida, brilliant skill. They love it, the Thunder fans in the corner there. Romanovsky, well, trying to be inspired by Yuki Uchida. He's not quite as technically exquisite, but they lose out. Taylor, Uchida, Clark can play in Decker or go himself. And once again, rinse and repeat. Lopez down low to his right to turn it behind for another Thunder corner kick.
Still some time, but it's at the wrong end for South Melbourne. Just consulted that table again, Brent. I think actually on head-to-heads, if it is somehow a draw here, I think that would actually relegate Dandenong Thunder down to third on the table with Preston holding on to second. But nonetheless, it is a huge fixture next week here against Avondale. Right now, you can't see how Thunder won't emerge with the win here. It's all very desperate right now for South Melbourne, and Pope's the one straddling the line. Ross Clark pointing toward Javi Lopez for a goal kick here. Tick-tock for South Melbourne. Ross Clark ends it. And Dandenong Thunder have won their 3rd consecutive game and are second on the table in NPL Victoria for South Melbourne. Their 3rd consecutive loss. And next week we have a top of the table clash here at George Andrews, with Dandenong Thunder hosting Avondale. And there is so much Brent Sternberg to talk about after this one.
There is. South Melbourne's month of March sadness continues. 3 consecutive losses now for the first time in 4 years. The Thunder beat them for just the 2nd time in 12 years and are into second on the table. There wasn't a whole lot of goalmouth action to tell you about, certainly in the first half. Yuki Uchida, who might have scored in the first half, did score in the 57th minute. And Dandenong Thunder, I want to say, were able to hold on, but really they were the team that looked like they were going to score a second goal, and they might have, if not for the exploits of Harvey Lopez. But the main talking point is South Melbourne's inability to create opportunities and to score. But as Thunderstruck rings out across George Andrews, one of the Thunder's best victories in recent times, a 1-0 win over South Melbourne. And the Thunder are into second on the table tonight. For me, Brent Sternberg and Adam Sarakoglu will bid you farewell. What a win for the Thunder. Back to the drawing board for South Melbourne. They'll play next Friday night against Hume City. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks to our cameraman and our statsman as well. The final score here at George Andrews Reserve. Dandenong Thunder 1, South Melbourne 0. Goodbye.